Today we're covering something crucially important, especially if you're planning on moving to Northwest Arkansas. So let's cover the top 4 things that I wish that I would have known and thought about and considered when I actually purchased my first home here in Northwest Arkansas. So let's talk about that. Hey everybody, if you don't know who I am, my name is Phillip Shepard. I'm a local real estate agent located right here in Northwest Arkansas. If you weren't aware, I actually was a real estate broker located in the dumpster fire, the horrible, the no good state of Illinois, the worst. Anyways, I could have moved anywhere I wanted to in America. I could have moved to Huntsville, I could have moved to Tennessee, Kentucky, Florida, Colorado, Arizona, anywhere I wanted to in America, but I chose Northwest Arkansas, and it is by far the best place to live in America, by far. If you ever want to talk about why I chose Northwest Arkansas versus anywhere else in America, call me, text me, let's meet up for coffee and talk about, again, why Northwest Arkansas is, again, the best place to live in America, by far. So, without further ado, let's jump right into the content. All right, and the first thing we need to cover when it comes to purchasing your first home here in Northwest Arkansas is going to be potential growth. That is something that I researched immensely when I first moved here in Northwest Arkansas. So obviously there's growth left and right, up and down, all across the board when it comes to Northwest Arkansas. Now there's 2 different ways of looking at this. A lot of people that move here want to be part of the growth. They want to obviously have a lot more equity. They want to be part of the growth. They want to be, what are things coming down the pipeline? All those different things. A little bit of a side note, usually the most growth is happening on the north section of Northwest Arkansas, near Pea Ridge, near kind of like the XNA, the airport, obviously Bentonville, Centerton. Those are big growth areas altogether. But maybe you're not actually considering, you don't want to be part of the growth at all. That's going to be a huge section as well. Now, I do recommend giving me a call. Let's talk about where those growth patterns are happening. And they are pretty evident where those things are happening, because builders are developing, highways are being developed, the new businesses are going there. So there's huge growth signs in different parts of Northwest Arkansas. So if you're obviously very concerned about that, definitely give me a call. But for the short answer is, obviously, again, the north section is definitely growing a lot quicker based on the marketing of Walmart, the influx of potential, obviously, employees, obviously all of the development of new retailers that are working with Walmart. A lot of developments happening around Rogers. You get the picture. So regardless of all things, I would definitely spend some time research, looking around the area. Where are the areas you want to live based on, obviously, potential growth? Now, if you want to hit that certain sweet spot where it's like, okay, I want to buy a house and I want it to be in a growth pattern, that's going to be a huge consideration as well. So again, when you're looking to move here, keep in mind, again, of the potential growth, whether new highways or this or that or the other. All those factors are a huge play when it comes to buying your first home in Northwest Arkansas. And the second thing you definitely need to be aware of when you're purchasing your first home here in Northwest Arkansas, and I'm going to label this nicely or kind of cutely, is trying to be aware of where are all the cool things going. Now, whether it's downtown Bentonville and it's obviously the Quilta Parks, or it's Rogers by Promenade and Whole Foods, whether it's Bella Vista and the new rec centers and also the bike parks, or maybe it's down in Fayetteville, actually at the Ramble, or it's over in Prairie Grove and Farmington where new developments are happening. Obviously, you want to be aware of all those things happening. Where depends on where you want to move to. A lot of times I've had a lot of people in Pea Ridge. The Waltons just announced that they're actually building a bike park in Pea Ridge. Obviously, the Boltons obviously have been very vocal about building a massive bike park in Bella Vista, which is currently in development. We obviously have Gentry and all those cities on the far reaches of Northwest Arkansas. No big developments there, but when it comes to parks and recreation and businesses, those are all big factors when it comes to Northwest Arkansas. Now, I do want to point a little bit out to this, meaning if you are a person who's coming solo or single, or obviously with a spouse, or if you have kids, those are all big things as well. Whether you're going to Fayetteville for the park system and the pools, or Rogers for the huge parks up there, or if you're going over to Bentonville for obviously all the different businesses up there, each city has its own thing going for it quite well. So again, those are all big factors when it comes into play when you're picking your first house in Northwest Arkansas. But keep that in mind, is that when you start picking out your cities and locations, just know that, and again, call me and we can start expounding on what things are popping up everywhere, and there's a lot going on. But again, keep that in mind, do some research, see what's coming down the pipeline for the area you're looking at, and see if it makes sense for the actual lifestyle you're looking to do, plus obviously the friends and family you're bringing along with you to Northwest Arkansas. Whoa, I made something for you. I made something called 3-day itineraries. So maybe you're looking to check this place out, maybe you're looking to see if it is the best place to live in America. Secret, It is. I made 3-day itineraries. So maybe you're an adventurer, maybe you're a sports person, maybe you're a foodie, maybe you're a sightseer, maybe you have kids, whatever it is. I have 3-day itineraries linked below. So definitely download them and use them when you get down here. Also, you might be using things like Realtor.com, Zillow.com, or Redfin. Way too slow. Notifications, way too slow. That's why I made something called Instant Home Updates. It sounds exactly what it is, literally. So enter your information below, names, bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage. Where do you want to move to in Northwest Arkansas? Enter all the information below and make sure you don't miss a single notification when it comes to home for sale or for rent, all in Northwest Arkansas. Also, every single Friday, I send an email just talking about all the cool things happening in Northwest Arkansas. What's going on downtown Bentonville? What's going on in Fayetteville? What's going on First Thursdays? When's First Fridays? What's going on downtown Rogers? What's going on in Pinnacle? There are so many things all the time happening in Northwest Arkansas. Enter your name and email below and make sure you get that email every single Friday. But I need you to be aware, you will get a little fear of missing out, a little FOMO, so to speak, but I promise you will be the most informed person eventually when you make your way down through Northwest Arkansas. And the third thing you definitely need to be aware of when it comes to purchasing your first home here in Northwest Arkansas is going to be the infrastructure changes. There's obviously a lot of little moving pieces around Northwest Arkansas, whether you're in Fayetteville and the new highway system that's happening on the south end, where by MLK and the new exit into the south end of Fayetteville, or you're going up to Rogers, or if you're going over to the west side of Northwest Arkansas and the expansion of 612 and 71B and new highways and new this and new that, all those factors become a huge part of Northwest Arkansas. Now, I can't necessarily decide what's best for you or your family or friends or whatever, but I definitely need to be aware is when you're picking your first house here, just be aware there's massive changes coming down the pipeline, and just kind of a little bit of a rundown of kind of those big changes. Obviously, we have a new highway being established over near the actual airport. Back about 2 years ago, I was fully aware of all these things coming down the pipeline. And so a lot of people wanted to buy land around that area, unknowing the fact that there's a major highway going there, and they decided to go elsewhere because they wanted to be more rural. That might be part of your factors as well. Or maybe you want to have more easy access from Fayetteville to Bentonville. The nice thing is that obviously a lot of people use the big highway 49. Little do people know that 71, which is another highway being developed, is there, but it's only 2-lane. It's actually be expanded to 4-lane, if not 5-lane. That's being starting now, and that's going to be easy access from Fayetteville to Bentonville. Or if you're looking to be in different parts of Northwest Arkansas, just know there's always being things done that might make your life a little bit more interesting or challenging or better overall, based on infrastructure changes being developed. If you come down here, it's going to be pretty obvious what's being done. To my knowledge, there's no big changes happening that are not being worked on at the moment when it comes to highways and byways and off ramps and this and that and the other. So just know that if you see construction happening, it's going to be happening here. So it's already being established. I'm not aware of any major plans being developed besides like maybe some downtown sections in Centerton and maybe some things over at the airport. But those things have been wide reported and easy access across the internet, or just call me again directly. But regardless of all those things, make sure infrastructure is a big part of that. And on the other side is that if you are driving from Fayetteville to Bentonville or Bentonville to Fayetteville or whatever, just know that there's big infrastructure changes coming down the pipeline that might make your life a little bit easier. So keep that in mind as you're picking your first home here in the area. And the fourth thing you definitely need to consider when you're purchasing your first home here in Northwest Arkansas, and this is the fun part, this is the part I love to talk about, is going to be when it comes to obviously picking your first home, is just the fun things and location of everything. Now, this is kind of a little bit of throwback to when I talked about cool things down the pipeline, but I kind of want to put this out there more specifically. If you want to be close to lakes, if you want to be close to trail systems, if you want to be close to on-ramps and off-ramps, if you want to be close to the airport, all of those cool things are a major part of Northwest Arkansas. But I do want to reiterate, every single city has cool things going for it, whether it's in Fayetteville or Lowell or Johnson or Pea Ridge or Bella Vista or wherever. So when it comes to overarching everything, you want to really consider of your lifestyle. And that's one of the big factors of all this, is that if you want to purchase your first home here, maybe you want to be closer to parks, maybe you want to be closer to the actual lakes and rivers, maybe you want to be a little bit more country. You want to really kind of match your lifestyle with all the cool things happening in the area itself. So again, if you're thinking about moving here, you might want to plant yourself easy access to those things. An example is if maybe you want to be on some really rough terrain bike paths in Fayetteville, you want to be kind of closer to Kessler Mountain, or even Mount Sequoia, or even Mount Kessler in Fayetteville. If you want to be close to more easy pathways and walking distance and easy access to work and stuff, getting closer to that parts of downtown Bentonville or north of Bentonville, or even south parts of Bella Vista, easy access to all those different things. Maybe you want to be a little bit more offshoot towards like easy access to Bentonville, but don't want to sometimes pay the prices for Bentonville because they can get a little bit, we'll say, expensive. Obviously, Pea Ridge is a good opportunity for that as well. So again, when it comes to picking your first home here, let's do some research. Let's figure out what makes sense for you and pick out kind of like those, we'll say, hotspots, those hotspots of where it makes sense for you to plant your friends, family, and maybe just by yourself here in Northwest Arkansas. And I do recommend, again, planting yourself near things that you'll go to more often makes a way more enjoyable experience in Northwest Arkansas. And so again, it could be country, it could be downtown, it could be on the outskirts a little bit. It just depends on what you're looking for when you get here to Northwest Arkansas. All right, that's all I have for you guys today. Again, if you have not been down to Northwest Arkansas quite yet, I made something called the NWA Starter Pack. Sounds exactly what it is, literally a package full of all the cool things in Northwest Arkansas. It comes with a 120-page guide, literally a guide of all the things you want to know about Northwest Arkansas. Education, systems, anything, all the cool things to do here. Comes with that guide. Plus, it comes with the 3-day itineraries, which I mentioned before, and it comes with postcards, everything you want to know about Northwest Arkansas, and it comes with a handy-dandy Northwest Arkansas coloring book. Do it for the coloring book. I mean, come on now. Anyways, it's a literal package, literally shipped right to your home, Enter your name and address below. I'll make sure to get that package shipped to you right away. Also, side note, it does come with your first free mountain bike, so that's pretty cool. And I know what you're thinking. It is my favorite filler F word. Free! So enter your information below and make sure to get that package shipped to you right away. All right, guys, I'll see you next one.